Welcome to the Stretch to Go podcast. My name is Ian Ray, your host, and I have Karen Park from Bristol, Rhode Island. She's a fitness trainer, business owner, and bodybuilder competitor. She's also part of the Bendy Bar team, and I wanted to have her on the podcast so we can talk about this awesome too, the Bendy Bar. But Karen, welcome to the Stretch to Go podcast.
Ian, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here today.
So Karen, for my audience who may not know who you are, please introduce, how did you get into fitness training? What's your background? And of course, how the heck did Bendy Bar come into your life?
Sure. Yeah. So, I feel like I could talk forever about my life, and there's certain things that draw us to certain things at different points in our life. And before I became a mom of three beautiful daughters, many years ago, I was always into exercise and bettering myself. But as the years rolled on, I found that my life had changed drastically, and I wasn't able to go to the gym as much as I wanted to because I had these three little toddlers running around. They're all very close in age. And I was a stay-at-home mom for about 14 years. And then I had a life-changing event. And a lot of people go through this, but I did go through a divorce. And I was thrust into the world of no longer being a stay-at-home mom, but trying to find a career path for me that would fit in with having my children and having like a work-life balance while becoming an independent woman again. And the first thing that had come to mind was it has to not only be about my children now, but about me and my health and my wellness. And that's when I got back into the gym again and started really honing in on my mind, body, and soul, kind of like where I was at that time in my life. And many years ago, I had a sales background, and with a new gym that had opened up close by where I lived, I decided that I would go in and apply and try to find mother's hours, basically, and I just loved the environment. And it was very energetic for me. And not only was I getting in shape, but I was helping other people by selling memberships and selling healthy shakes and things like that. And I did catch the attention of the owners of the gym chain at the time, and they liked my energy. And they just said, who's that girl behind the desk? We need like 10 more of her. And obviously getting in shape was kind of shining through. And that's when they approached me about putting me out on the floor as a personal trainer. Had I ever considered that before? And I said, well, not really, but maybe, maybe that would be like a good fit for me. And they said, well, we'll tell you what, we 100% support you. We can envision you out here helping people, and we will help you get certified. Is that something that you'd like to do? And I thought about it for about a day, and then I came back into work the next day and I said, you know what, I think I really want to do this. This might be my next calling, not just being a great mom, but what else can I do to help people become a better version of themselves as I was growing, into my own self again,
Mm-hmm. So I did personal training, and then how did becoming a bodybuilding competitor, how did that happen? Was it because of fitness training? Was that like your next step into, the fora of fitness and training?
Yeah. So, I realized once I got back into fitness for myself and I started helping people, I realized how much I loved the whole environment, and just seeing people who may have lost their way, who want to get back into fitness. My burning desire started to grow to the next level where I could see changes within myself, and I wanted to do more. I wanted to see more definition in my body. I wanted to test, I guess, the limits, my own challenges. How could I handle being on a strict regimen of nutrition and training, especially at my age? I did this just 2 years ago, the bodybuilding, not the training part, but the bodybuilding of myself. And I set the go button on that at the age of 57, And so I just felt as though that this was the next greatest thing that I could do for personal reasons, but also professional development. I could then have the next level of credibility for my clients when they're walking through the door for a consultation and they want to get in shape and they don't really know where to begin. Well, I can now tell them with confidence and in all honesty what I went through to go through my own fitness journey and become a better trainer for them.
Yeah, definitely. Especially being from, like I said, a stay-at-home mom to fitness trainer on bodybuilding. Those are big steps that most women probably have a hard time doing. Even just becoming a fitness trainer, it's a lot of work. Learning about the body, learning about proper proper techniques in lifting, and of course, building the body to be resilient. And that's taking another level is the bodybuilding competition. I've never trained, but I know people who have, and it's a full time thing, right? You have to be focused and honed in on your diet and everything.
It is. It is. I mean, if you are at a family function, you have your food bag with you. You know, it's not very attractive to walk into a wedding or something and people are like, "What did you order?" And I'm like, "Right here." It's like basically, veggies and fish, This is my life, and that bag goes with you wherever you go and you're eating on a schedule and you have to have extreme discipline. With all age levels, it is 100% something that takes a lot of wherewithal. But with myself, I'm able to connect with people who are over 40 specifically who want to change their body composition. And I can confidently tell them that, yes, you can do this, whether it's post menopause or you have life challenges. If you set your mind to it and you have proper nutrition and proper guidance, that's what it's all about. It's having proper guidance and the education behind you. How do I do this? Who do I turn to? And so I took my own education with the training and everything. And I did always like to work out, so I did have that knowledge behind me. But I can see that when I train clients where the shortcomings are. And usually it's just about form and just understanding how the body mechanics work. How do you do this? So yeah, it was a very exciting thing that I did for myself, and sharing it with others is even it's like the icing on. I don't want to say cake, but it's right up there.
What made you decide to have that ideal client in the 40-year-old range? Is it because of your past experience when you started this health and fitness journey, or like what makes you hone into that age group?
Yeah, 100%. I do think that my age has a lot to do with it, and simply because of what I went through to get where I am today. There are so many great trainers out there, but when clients are shopping for a trainer, I instruct them like, hey, you need to interview them like they're kind of looking at you saying, is this the ideal client for me? Well, it should also be on the other side. You should make sure that they're the ideal trainer for you. Sometimes you may have a 20-year-old new trainer possibly getting an opportunity to train a 50-year-old woman who might have had children, who may have an aging parent, who has stressors, who has some injuries, and maybe even menopause in women on the woman's side. And maybe that's not a good fit, not because of the tenacity that they may have as a new trainer, just because it might not be 100% a great match. So I found what my niche is, and I stick with what I do best at. I love 20-year-old clients, but the 40 and up tend to gravitate to me more because there is definitely a connection there. And it's very, very important to be connected to your trainer because you're going to be spending a lot of time together, sometimes as much as 4 or 5 days a week, maybe down to two sessions a week, but you're building that relationship. It's very, very relational. So I stick with what I excel at. And this is it. I found my niche, 40 and over, and it's amazing and it feels great.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I think it's so important. Like you want to help a lot of people, but I think the niching down, it just hones on your skills and your expertise into how you can help them further. Because even myself, as a fat nutrition therapist, like it's so niche. Like I can only help certain people who see what I do with fascia and stretching. So that's
Sure.
wonderful that you have that. So kind of give me a glimpse of like what if someone wants to come, you like I said, your ideal client, 40 and older women, gone through menopause. What would they typically, get to do working with you? What is the typical like beginning when you're working with Karen Park?
Sure, sure. So the way that I explain the whole process to them, because I will tell you that there's definitely fear involved. It's a multi-step process. First they're checking out my page, and sometimes for 6 months or more. It's just like buying a car. You're out there kicking tires. Should I do this? Should I not do this? I'm scared to go and see this trainer because I feel like I need to get in shape to go and see her to get in shape because they're very like intimidated by a little bit of muscle or someone who might be in shape. And so the first thing is really making them feel welcome, and that
Mhm.
this doesn't have to be a scary process, and exercise doesn't have to like be something that we hate to do. It can be a really fun and very gratifying, rewarding experience. So I want to take the fear out of the experience first and foremost. Once I can see that they are kind of like warming up a little bit, and then we start talking about how these workouts are going to go. Hey, you're going to be sore, but it's going to be a good sore. And it's going to be, one step closer than you were before you made the phone call to me. So your journey has already started the day that we're sitting having a conversation. That is the beginning stages right there. Okay. So, I want to treat the body with respect. I do try and drive home to them that our bodies are our temples and we need to take care of them, from head to toe. And this experience of training with me is going to be a mind, body, and soul connection. And those workouts are going to start foundationally, and we're going to see how the body moves. I want to wake your body up and introduce it to the idea that this is what you're going to be doing from this point forward. You're going to be moving your body in ways. It's not the same as bending down and picking up a piece of paper. Now you're going to be bending down and you're going to have some kettlebells in your hand, and it's going to feel a lot different. Your body is going to be like in a little bit of shock, but not to worry, because the process as we go along, I will be giving you more tasks, and they're going to become more important to the process. You're going to feel more empowered. You're going to feel stronger. You're going to feel better. You're going to sleep better. You're going to have more energy, and the confidence that you're going to gain within yourself is probably more than the process itself. It's getting up. It's walking through the door and being held accountable and having somebody, that has your back. And I do, as a trainer, I do have my clients' backs, all of them.
So I guess for you, once you got into fitness and bodybuilding and whatnot, how important do you see mobility? Because we have the strength training, we have the nutrition, but sometimes I preach to my clients as well as like I can do what I do is just one component of the strength training, your lifestyle habits. But of course, like the flexibility and mobility, that's another thing too, because you're working with 40 and older. They're not 20s anymore. They're probably, sedentary jobs if they do, or they're not as active anymore, slowing down. But how important do you see mobility and flexibility with clients currently?
Sure. Yeah, that's a great question. When I first meet them, I can tell where some of their deficiencies are. Some of them cannot even bend to do a squat, and these are all the things that I'm looking for. I'm doing an RDL, bending over, getting that hamstring engagement and the glutes, waking everything up. They can't do it. Why? Because they're so tight. So part of the program is not just the resistance training and waking the body up, but it's also introducing them to the importance of now incorporating a great, what I call a stretching diet into their lives. Most of them are not stretching. Okay. They might look some things up online and think that, okay, I'll just, lay on the floor for a little bit, but, and that's okay. But I like to tell them, hey, let's start out with maybe 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes at night, and gradually try to increase, and let's introduce some different exercises. So I do try to help them unlock their hips, try to help them get rid of some of that lower back pain. And I can tell when they first walk in the door that their posture is not the best, so it's not just about working upper back muscles to improve the posture. It's about, are your spines aligned? Are your hips tight? What is causing you to lean over to the left or the right? So try to uncover that and educate them that stretching is so, so important.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely true. Especially with the probably either repetitive use, repetitive type of patterns that they might have, or overuse of their muscles, or like I said, even like simple habits, whether if they're bending down and they're not using their legs instead of just bending over backwards. I mean, those are common things that people show. And I like myself, I like to use posture assessment to see from the ground up where are those restrictions holding them back from feeling a stretch. So when I came across Bendy Bar, um, obviously I was looking for a tool to basically, find out how can people, of course, incorporate strength training, but also flexibility. But tell me, in your own experience, how's Bendy Bar helped with your clients or even your personal life with this?
Yeah, so I'm so excited to talk about the Bendy Bar. Thank you for introducing it to your client base and your viewers. There's a lot of tools out there. There's everything from people using a broomstick to a rigid stick to something that might give them a little more robust, I guess, a stretching tool. I'm very passionate about talking about the Bendy Bar because I have been able to not only use it myself, being 40 and over, but it's great for everybody. Everybody needs to stretch, but also to incorporate it into my clients' lives. We are utilizing the Bendy Bar because it has flexibility and it is really for all fitness levels because the Bendy Bar comes in 3 different resistance levels. So we have a light, medium, and a max. And they come in and adjustable in different heights. So everyone can use it. One thing that I love about it is not only just the stretching and the resistance, but you can also use it for functional type exercises as well. So if someone buys this and they have it at home and they work from home and they're on those Zoom calls and they're sitting for a long period of time working at their desk, their spines are compressed, they're getting stiff, they might be getting up, getting a drink, going back, sitting down. But why not get on those Zoom calls and use the Bendy Bar and incorporate some stretching throughout the day so that you're constantly feeling refreshed, not just waiting till the end of the day when you're standing up. You're like, oh my gosh, my lower back is killing me. This is a great tool to have in the corner of your home office. You can throw it in your car. I just had a client who went away for a month. She was very concerned about how her fitness training and her stretching would be interrupted. I'm going in a motorhome. She's like, what am I supposed to do? So I gave her a nice at-home workout, something that she could follow relatively easy, hitting the major body parts. And then also she bought the Bendy Bar and she took it with her in the motorhome. I let her borrow some of my dumbbells, some resistance bands, and she was so on point. She still trained 3 times a week. And one of the things that I do want to mention, which I think is kind of very cute. She brought the Bendy Bar with her. They traveled to Florida. She met up with a cousin that she hadn't seen in a long time ago. She was saying, oh gosh, you look so great. What are you doing? She's like, well, I started with a personal trainer and I've been using the Bendy Bar. She showed it to her cousin. She texted me on the way home and she said, I need to order a second Bendy Bar because my cousin loved it and I gave my Bendy Bar to her and I need another one for myself. So if you are not familiar with it and are being introduced to it, I can tell that this is going to definitely keep catching on. People are understanding that it's super lightweight. You're doing everything from T-spine rotations, you're doing pendulum swings, you can do standing push-down movements, getting your core involved, getting your quads, your hamstrings, back stretches, lat stretches. I've never seen so many exercises with a little flexible bar. It's amazing.
Yeah. What I liked about it, because I've always looked into like stick mobility. So we have the stick mobility brand, right? The orange stick that probably people have seen. But the one thing that differentiates this with stick mobility is that you can do these exercises, like their resistance. Stick mobility does not have a resistance. So when that's the great thing about this is like the different resistance, whether you turn here or there, can really pertain to the deeper into the stretch, or like you're saying, those dynamic movements. And that's one thing I think stick mobility is missing out that Bendy Bar has caught on because you can include this in it as a strength training, not only as a flexibility tool, but this is a strength training regimen because the fact that they can do chest flies, stick mobility, you cannot. This, oh yeah, you can feel a difference. So I think that's the cool part. And like you're saying, this is a tool that you can use all in one. It's mobile. Like, yeah, you can take this wherever you go. And people probably will look at it and say, what's this used for? And I think this is a great introduction for people to say, hey, you try it. You tell me if this is something that you can incorporate, because we all know we've probably been to, a gym, probably don't have enough equipment, whether to work out. But this is something that they can take it wherever they go, whether it's like I said, mobile home, at the beach, at the beach house this summer, perfect way. So I think I totally agree. I'm really glad that I have this so that I can give to my clients as well after they're stretching. I give this as a mobility and a stability drill for them so I can help them activate those muscles and even get even a little deeper stretch. sometimes. So I would love to see, like, because I know you have those 3 different Bendy bars in the back. So kind of showcase us, like, what are the differences? Obviously we have different models and prototypes, right?
Sure, sure. So I'll just step away for 1 second here. So I'll just start off by just kind of showing you the light right here. This one right here is probably about 20 pounds of resistance. This is how I would typically introduce it to my clients, okay? I like this one because I'm 4'11", so this one here, it will adjust, to just a good height, a little over 4'11", and so basically there is some adjustable balls right here, and what you want to do is you just want to kind of align this so that you have some comfort here on the back of your spine, okay? And this is one of the things that stick mobility doesn't really offer, okay? Because they don't have the balls here for comfort. And it's made out of a really nice UVC rubber, which is actually the same rubber that they use on Croc shoes. So it has a nice kind of it's dense, but yet it's comfortable on the back of your neck. So a lot of people are saying, oh my gosh, not only can I use this, to align, but I'm also using it to massage the back of my neck. My muscles are super tight. There again, here's a whole nother use that we haven't even thought about, with the Bendy Bar. So it is adjustable by height, min to max. And like we talked about with the resistance, this is about 20 pounds of resistance. So this is perfect for a beginner. This is perfect for someone who is in actual recovery, whether they're post-surgery or they have tweaked a muscle of some kind. You are just gently reintroducing stretching exercises, to the body. So this is a great starting tool. Okay. Now, is this the end all be all for everyone? No, it's not, because we have different heights, different people have different levels of strength. And so, a big strapping guy who's like, 6'2" is probably not going to turn to the light. They're going to turn more to the medium or to the max. Okay. So again, one of the things that is really nice about this is that we do have a scan code on each one of the bars, and that takes you right to our website. So there's nice videos on there that is going to give you ideas and how to utilize the tool. And we're coming up with more and more exercises all the time. We have, a nice team of people, whether it's physical therapists or other trainers, and we're developing classes so that people can take classes online. So we're really seeing that this is the next wave of these fitness tools that you see that I think people really need to pay attention to because of the diversity. There is a lot of diverse things that you can do with it. It's catching the attention of a lot of people. I'm seeing colleges, sports teams, baseball players, hockey players. It's not just for 40 and over. The stretching is for everyone, and that's why we're very passionate about the tool and all that it has to offer. We just think that it's a brand new company. Obviously, we're not too many months out from its first release, and we're doing a lot of fitness shows. We're catching the attention of big chain gyms and big distributors from all over the world who see the benefit in adding the Bendy Bar to their repertoire. Not just small gyms or small client bases, but big chain gyms where they want to bring in some new equipment. Yeah.
That's totally true. Especially when you talk about athletes, working with baseball athletes, hockey, golfers. I mean, people who are using clubs or bats, this perfect for that, like you're saying, rotational, the thoracic rotation. Because yeah, you can use bands and stuff too, but I think this kind of mimics that actual movement that they need, especially if they're doing a golf swing, right? Yeah.
Totally, yeah. I mean, this is something that is actually very interesting to the golf community. The guys are standing out, the girls too, obviously not just men and women. They're taking their golf clubs and they're warming up. This nice tool can actually fit right in their golf bag. They can warm up in between swings. Right now I'm utilizing and I'm actually engaging my chest muscles, stretching out, getting my lower back involved. I don't know how much you can see here, but there's just a lot of uses, because of the ability to get that great lat stretch in, lower back, even your shoulders. It's going to improve their game. The more limber that you are, the better that you're going to play. It's all about the form and the drive, and you can't do that if you're so tight. So this is great in the pro shops, selling it in the pro shops, introducing it to the golfing community and the golf pros. I have made a couple of demonstrations here locally, and they really like it a lot. Like I said, trade shows and things like that is another way. Your wonderful podcast. Thank you so much, for giving us the opportunity to talk a little bit about Bendy Bar and how you're utilizing it too. It's about education, just like anything else. So we're really happy, excited about it.
Yeah. So where do you think so where can most people find the Bendy Bar if they are interested in, purchasing one or like learning more about it?
Sure. So bendyfit.com is the best way. Also following our Instagram page. We've been uploading and capturing a lot of different athletes and people who've been talking about the Bendy Bar. So we'd love a follow on social media, of course. Facebook is another way. We do have a spring special going on right now. So it's 20% off and free shipping as well, which is a great deal. Buy one for you, buy one for your husband, and start that stretching process and telling other people about it. Hey, this made me feel great. When I go back to my client who was traveling and introduced her to her cousin, she had not yet heard about it. But that's how it starts, with something new. And the other, stick mobility, has been around for a long time, and most people will know that more. But we feel like we have a great opportunity to appeal to a new wave of people who are interested in stretching and staying limber and being their best self.
Yeah. No, definitely. I think more people should look into, different type of tools, especially if they've tried for, different ways to stretch and to gain mobility in their life. It's always good to try out different things. I'm always open to the different ways that I can, like I said, recover faster, train efficiently, so that, I can basically save my time and then get the best results. I think this is definitely one of the best source of resource that I have for my clients and for myself, because I can, like I said, it's so versatile, it's affordable, and most times, it's multi-purpose. So there's so many things that people can purchase it. Even though it might seem weird, it's not. It's just, if you're to grab a broomstick and try it out, it's night and day. The function to compare to a broomstick or a PVC pipe is totally different, like you're mentioning. There's so much benefits. So yeah.
It is. It is. And, the whole development stage of the product, it took a while, but it's simple, but it's not simplistic, if that makes sense. It's like just a simple tool, like you're saying, but it does so much more for you, and as we develop more and more exercises, I think that there's going to be more and more people that it appeals to. And, really the only way to experience it is actually use it. And I think that it greatly improves a lot of people's lives.
Yeah. So, well, thank you, Karen, for helping on to the Stretch to Go podcast. I appreciate you and your story. Obviously, it's great to hear people like yourself doing that. But where can people find you to either book a session, to train with you, or even to learn more about what you're doing and offering? Where can they find you?
Sure. Yeah. So I do have a website. It's KarenParkFitness.com. People can, read about me and my story, and also they can book a consultation there, whether it's the phone or in person. Here in Rhode Island, which is beautiful, we're getting approaching summer. So a lot of people are taking their fitness either to the next level, or they're going to be at the beach around here, one or the other, But if they're starting to think about their fitness journey, the best way to reach me is through the website and consultation. You can set up something on the phone. I can do, in person. I do online as well, or to just pick my brains, and just say like, hey, what do you think? Like, this is what I would like to do, what I would like to accomplish. And I really enjoy sharing my story, sharing information, especially people who want to make a difference and make change. I'm all about health and fitness, and adding longevity. And my new motto is, I'm working on aging backwards. That's the goal. So I think that's what everybody should strive for, is aging backwards.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for hopping on once again, and of course showcasing the Bendy Bar Fit. For those of you who are continue to follow, subscribe, and like the Stretch to Go podcast, we release new episodes every 7 a.m. Eastern Standard. Karen, once again, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ian. I've had a great time. Thank you. And thank you for, getting the word out about Bendy Bar. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Take care. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.